So, Khwari, today we want to reiterate and to repeat the important lesson of understanding and comprehending that the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, they are the blueprint for success in Islam, and they, by coming to us, have established a practical way in which a person can practice the religion. So therefore, it's not enough for a Muslim to say that I'm just a Muslim, but we have to do our best, our level best, to try to imitate what the companions of the Prophet were upon, sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa radiyallahu anhu. So it's important for you brothers as Muslims to know something about the seerah of Al-Islam. How did Al-Islam begin? Those first ayat that were revealed. The Prophet was living in Mecca, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of the hostility that he had to deal with in Mecca. Those companions specifically who were famous for accepting Islam at the beginning in Mecca, when it's very difficult. Many of them lost their lives, men and women, young people, they made sacrifices. And then the Muslim has to know something about the seerah when the Prophet moved to Al-Medina, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how Islam gained power, but at the same time there are many challenges. Challenges of the problems that were caused by the Jews. Problems and issues and challenges that were created dealing with Christians, dealing with polytheists. So now, as Muslims, we're living in the UK, we live in the West, we live in America. As you learn about Al-Islam, you want to practice Al-Islam, you're surrounded by Jewish people, you're surrounded by Christians, you're surrounded by polytheists, idolaters. If you know about the history of Prophet Muhammad and his companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa radiyallahu anhum, you'll have an idea about how to deal with situations. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So, you young Muslims, especially in the madrasa, the lessons that we teach you guys, it's not okay that it becomes so difficult for you not to retain this information. We don't teach you these things just to be information. If you know that you should go into the bathroom with one particular foot, you should go into the bathroom with that foot. If you know that when you use the toilet, you should sit down, you should clean yourself, you know that. Then don't be a person who doesn't do it. If you know the masjid is a place where you have to be quiet, then you know that. Everybody knows that. But yet, after every prayer, we have a lot of kalam, a lot of commotion. So we look at the companions, we look at their lives. It's not enough for a person to say, I'm a revert to Islam, and I'm just gonna leave myself like that. I have to learn about the history of Islam, the seerah of the Prophet of Islam. If you want to be an effective Muslim, a real serious Muslim, doesn't mean you have to be a scholar, but you have to know about what went on in the religion. And this way, the verses of the Quran that you read, you'll understand them properly, because you'll understand why they were revealed and how the companions dealt with them. And when you hear strange things, weird things, in America a few days ago, some kid and is going around and it became viral now, and they shot him in Texas. And he said he was going to hold these people hostages, of Jewish people, and he was going to be a martyr. And he called his relative or somebody, and he was swearing at him and cursing at him and telling him he was going to be a martyr. If you read about the history of Islam, you'll know, oh, this is not a representation of Islam. You'll know that. You'll never allow yourself to be put in situations that are like that. So the point is, we have to look at those companions. We have to learn about what happened with them. The same challenges that you had, they had. For an example, from amongst us right now, there are people who have marital challenges and issues. Some people right now are married, they're on the brink of divorce. They're thinking about divorce. They're not getting along. Some people are divorced. They're happy with their companions. We know how to get divorced, and we know how to rectify their marriage. When we see what happened with them, it's nothing new. You learn how to do everything. You want to be a student of knowledge, look at the companions and how they withstood everything. So I mentioned that to bring this to your attention, the issue of racism. The companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they dealt with racism. They were in an environment in Arabia that was extremely racist. It was one of the big challenges that the Prophet faced, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The challenge of people hating each other and hating other people because of their color. It was a big problem. So the companions were not always Muslims. Some of them were kuffar. Most of them, they were kuffar. So they had issues. Some of them used to drink. Some of them murdered people. May Allah be pleased with all of them. We don't mention this to put them down. We're saying they went through things. One of the things they went through is racism. So Allah revealed to them, for an example, the statement of the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. That's an ayah that the Muslim listens to, and he's not going to allow himself to go against this ayah, and he won't allow other people to make this ayah something weird and difficult to understand. Because they were dealing with racism back then, Allah revealed this ayah to them. Verily Allah created you people from different nations and from different tribes. You're not all the same. That one is from Somalia, that one's from Eritrea, that one is from Chad, that one's from Pakistan, that one over there is from Afghanistan, that one over there is from America, that one over there is from Mexico, that one is white, that one is black, that's a man, that's a woman. We created you from nations and tribes. You're all different. We did that so that you could get to know each other. So I don't know much about Sudanese and Sudanese culture. So I go, I eat his food, I learn about him, I learn his language, I learn about his culture. I respect those things from him. We created you differently so that you can know each other and not for you to despise each other. The best of you in the sight of Allah is the one who is the most righteous. So right here sitting in this masjid, the best person here is not the one who is the eldest, it's not the one who has the most money, it's not the one who has the most intelligence. It's the one who prays the most, the one who brings good to people, the one who's fasting the most. And it could be a girl, it could be a boy, it could be an older person. Allah knows best. But the point is, why was that ayat revealed? Because the companions, they dealt with that racism. They were racist amongst themselves because of the environment they came from. Just like here. Just as bad, maybe even worse. So Allah revealed that ayah. The Prophet ﷺ used to always address this issue. Pay attention. Now, as a Muslim, part of the history of Islam is that you have to know that the first Muslims who were in Mecca when the first ayahs came down, the Muslim has to know, what are the first ayah? He was in the mountain, and Jibril came to him and read the ayah, Iqra. So that's the history. You have to know about that. Came down in Ramadan. So the Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca. Those people who were in Mecca, they stayed there for 13 years and then they migrated to Medina. They're called the Muhajireen. The Muslims should know that. Those first Muslims who Islam came to them first, the Quran came, where Prophet was living with them in Mecca. After 13 years, they said we have to leave. It's too hostile. They're killing us. They're called the Muhajireen. And then when they went to Medina, they had found some people who embraced Islam. And they said, we're going to help you. We believe. Come. We're going to support you. They're called the Ansar. The Ansar. The Muslim has to know that. The Muhajireen and the Ansar. Pay attention. Prophet Muhammad came to the Ansar. He was in Mecca, the most important city in Islam, where the Kaaba is. The Muslim has to know that. That Abraha came on those elephants and he wanted to destroy the Kaaba, but Allah stopped him. You have to know the history of your religion. So those Muhajireen, they went there. The Ansar who were in Medina, pay attention, they were two tribes. One tribe was called Al-Aws, and the other tribe is called Al-Khazraj. They're the people who were in Medina before Prophet Muhammad came. And they used to fight all the time. Racism. Before Prophet Muhammad came, they were fighting over a horse race that happened 200 years ago. They didn't even know why they were fighting anymore, because they inherited the horse race, beef. Like some of us, unfortunately, in our families, we don't have anything to do with the problem that transpired between our parents and our auntie, our uncle, but it affects all of us. And this is going to affect your children, and then their children, until someone with some aql, with some sense comes and say, hey, what is this? And that's what happened with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad went to Al-Medina, and when he got to Medina, he made these people make peace, and they put that hatred down from racism. They couldn't get along. But when they became Muslims, they relaxed. Allah revealed another ayah to them because of this issue of racism. He said in the Quran to these people, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فانقذكم منها. Listen to the ayah. Those people from the Medina were fighting. Allah told them, you people are Muslims now. You should remember the favor of Allah upon you when you used to be enemies one to another and you were fighting before Islam came, killing each other before Islam. You know, killing each other. Your brother gets killed. Your mother, your father gets killed for nothing. And now you're an orphan. Your mother's a widow. That happened in your society like now. People get killed for nothing right now. You bumped into him. He's just hanging out. He's drunk. You get stabbed. Fitna, folder, confusion. So Allah told them, remember that Allah saved you by sending Rasulullah to you. Hold on all together to the rope of Allah and don't be divided from the racism. So those are glaring, clear examples how the companions showed us practically, hey, they had racism. They fought each other. But when the Rasul came with the Quran and Islam, that stuff cooled them out. Where did the name come from? The Muhajireen and the Ansar? Allah called them that. Allah called them the Muhajireen and the Ansar in the Quran. I gave you their background. وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ. Allah said that in the Quran. He called them the Muhajireen. The people came from Medina, from Mecca to Medina, the Muhajireen in the Quran. And the people in Medina, the Aus and the Khazraj, who welcomed them, the Ansar. I'm asking you guys, did Allah use the word Pakistani in the Quran? Did he use Somali in the Quran? Sudani in the Quran? British in the Quran? American? He didn't use that in the Quran. He didn't use that in the Quran. But look what happened. He called them Muhajireen and he called them Ansar. So these two groups in Medina were fighting. Prophet Muhammad came and they cooled out. A third group came, the Meccan people. And the people in Medina knew Meccan people are the best people from the Arabs. They knew that from their history. The real Arabs came from where they're coming from Yemen and then from Mecca. So when they came, they could have had beef and drama. Xenophobia, when you don't like someone because he's different from you. You don't like him just because he's different. His color is different from you. Racism. Who does that? You ever heard of that cliche, that statement? You can't judge a book by its cover. You ever heard that? You see a book right there, you say, oh wow, look at that book. That's a good book. Did you read the book? No, I never read the book. How you know it's a good book? Until you read it. You don't know how good the food is until you taste it. But what a person does is as if he's saying, that book is a bad book. When he sees someone that says, I don't like him because he's this color or that color. Or this gender or that gender. Meaning a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. So some people have hatred in their hearts. Listen, if you're dark, wallahi, I was on the bus, uqsim billahi, I was on the bus the other day. I just wanted to know from the bus driver, hey, I want to go up here and I want to come back. How much it costs one way? He said 180. I said, okay, I just want to go up here and come back. He said 5 pounds or something. I said, no, I don't want an all-day pass. He just want to go up here. He said, you have to pay 5 pounds all-day pass. And he was rough with me and disrespectful. He said, either get off the bus. And I could tell he was a racist person. So I said to him, hey, don't talk to me like that. And he stopped the bus. And there was a lady on the bus, and this is the point. The lady said to me, hey, stop making trouble, you monkey. She called me a monkey. Is that a racist statement? I think it's a racist statement. And some people have that in their head. The darker you are, the closer you are to a monkey. Muslims are like that. They see you and you're dark, and they know, that's racism. That's not our religion. So Muslims have that amongst themselves in particular. The companions dealt with that. So Allah didn't call us Pakistanis, Allah didn't call us Sudanese, Somalis, Americans, but He called them Muhajireen and He called them Ansar. And one time, they had a disagreement and they were going to fight each other after peace came and they were Muslims. So these two groups, the Aus and the Khazraj, the Ansar, who were in Medina, they made peace with themselves. The people from the Muhajireen came and they made peace with each other. But one time something happened and there was a problem and they split. The people from Medina were on this side, the Muhajireen, and the people from the Ansar were over there. And they were going to have a civil war and fight each other over a big issue. And that big issue is what's known as the Qissat al-Ifk. That's in the Sirah of Al-Islam. That you have to read about your religion. Don't know more about Spider-Man and what episode Spider-Man is at, Spider-Man 2 or 3. You know more about Spider-Man than you know about your religion? Anybody have an idea of what Qissat al-Ifk is? What is that? Hey, Ummah of Islam, what is the Qissat al-Ifk? That's the story where the non-Muslims from the hypocrites accused the Prophet's wife, Aisha, of misbehaving. May Allah be pleased with her. And it caused this problem right here. We should learn that story. We should know something about that story. Because it'll teach us how to be with other people when you accuse people of things and you don't have proof. And when someone accuses someone of something and they come and tell you, you know how to deal with it because you know that story. But if you don't know that story, you'll deal with it like most of the community deals with it. Someone carries you a tale, we believe it as if it's revelation. So they split and they got ready to fight. How did they get ready to fight? One man from the Muhajireen said, "Oh, Muhajireen, let's get up and fight." And when those people from the Ansar saw that, a man got up and said, "Oh, Ansar, get up, let's fight them." And they were getting ready to fight. And they were bragging about, "I'm Muhajireen, I'm Pakistani, I'm Sudani, I'm American, I'm Somali, I'm from Algeria, I'm Moroccan." That's what it became. And they became something else. The Prophet saw what happened and he told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ad-da'watul jahiliyyah." Do you people make the call of jahiliyyah and I'm right here with you? Allah called them Muhajireen and Allah called them Ansar. But when they used it the wrong way, it's da'wah al-jahiliyyah. So if this one is Hanafi and this one is Maliki, okay, I like the Hanafi fiqh, he liked Maliki fiqh. But when we get in disagreement, or your Masjid, and I say I'm Hanafi, I'm Maliki, this is da'wah al-jahiliyyah. It's not permissible. So the companions came and they taught us this practically. So I'm here to say, and I repeat again, that in Al-Islam, the best of the people is the one who is most diligent in practicing his religion. The best of the people is the one who his heart is pure, his niyyah is pure. The best Muslim is not the one who is an Arab or non-Arab, a man or a woman, the rich or he's not rich. It's not the one. The one who memorized the Quran and he taught the Quran. You know, things like that. Now I also say that to say to you, and this is really important, Ikhwani, we don't want you to be racist towards each other, but this is really important. I also say that to say, you guys can't act as if you're second-class citizens. I keep telling you that. Because there's no one who's better than you just because of his color. Now there was a time historically, whether you know it or not, where black people were on top in civilization. It happened historically. Black people historically were on top. The Egyptians and other than that. But they were racist and they were oppressive and they lost the responsibility. And now it turned the other way. It wasn't always like this. But right now, being white and light is on top, to the point that even with people, Muslims and non-Muslims, in Africa, in Pakistan, in India, they dye their skin. The lighter you are, the better it is. The lighter you are, the better it is. No, that's a person who has self-hatred. You hate yourself. You don't like yourself. So although I say there's no racism in Islam, that doesn't mean you should walk around. That means, okay, I can't be a racist. I can't act as if I'm better than anyone. But at the same time, the flip side of that is you cannot ever allow people to make you feel like you're lesser than who you are. And that's why Islam is the only religion that answers the issue of racism. It addresses it. With these examples of the companions, the Prophet clearly showed throughout his history, the black has no authority over the white and the white has no authority over the black. Superiority. Because he said it. He said that the Arab is not better than the non-Arab and the non-Arab is not better. He said that. But in Christianity, they said that Jesus is the Son of Allah and they drew Jesus as being a white person. Jesus wasn't that color. But if Jesus is the Son of God, then God chose his son to be white. And that's why one of the reasons these people have superiority complex. So Christianity does not address racism. It encourages racism. Judaism encourages it. Hinduism, most racist group of people are Sikhs, Hindus. But in Al-Islam, no one can come to this religion and say Al-Islam supports Al-Asabiyya, Qawmiyya. Islam says to you to be proud of who you are. Don't apologize because Allah created you in the color and the way you are. Whoever doesn't like that, the problem is with them. So you shouldn't be racist, nor should you allow people to treat you as a second-class citizen. So as Muslims, we're not second-class citizens. And as people of color, we're not second-class citizens. If you go to the Middle East, look at the inferiority complex. If you find a person who is an American and he is a Muslim, if you find a person who's American and he's a Muslim from Pakistan, he's an American Muslim from Pakistan originally, he gets a job in the Middle East, the white person who's a kafir, if they did the same job and they got the same amount of experience, the white person is going to get more money. Although both of them are Americans, both of them are British. But this one is a white British, original. And the other one is one of color. That's in the Muslim world because of the way we think. They both have the same passport, same amount of experience. But that one is white. He'll make more money. So don't be of those people. We're not second-class citizens. Okay, Ikhwani, we're going to open up the door, inshallah. I keep telling you guys, talking during the class is very disrespectful. And it is a bad indication and a bad sign. It reflects on you negatively. Because it's like you're not having respect for all of the people who are trying to listen and the malaika who come down as well because of the beauty of the place and the importance of the place. So when we come to the masjid to talk about the deen, the malaika come down and they surround us and they make dua for us, for Allah to have rahmah upon us. So if someone is sitting in the audience and he's just sleeping, he'll get that rahmah. But if someone is in the audience and he's competing and he's talking, then that's like some inspiration that came from the shaitan. He makes waswas so that you can distract yourself and you can distract others and you can distract the one who's talking. So some of the things that we're doing, and this is what I'm telling you, that when we come to learn the religion here, we're trying to learn the religion, but we're trying to learn things and apply them. You'll know it's not right to talk. You know that. Why do it? It takes discipline to be a student of knowledge. You have to learn how to sit in the audience and just be still 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And wallahi, the reward for it is tremendous. But shaitan, he doesn't want it to happen. That's why if you play PlayStation, you really enjoy it. You really, as soon as you turn it on and they make that noise, you zoned in, just like that. But when you come to the masjid, it's more reward. But shaitan, he doesn't want this. So I say, remember the etiquette of the masjid, guys, the etiquette of the masjid. All right? We want you to be a reflection of what you're learning here. I traveled all over the world. I went to Indonesia. Big masjid there called Masjid Al-Istiqlal. 120,000 people were there for a lecture. And I never forget it, because you know those Indonesians, they're very flexible. They were sitting there, lecture after lecture after lecture, for about 4 or 5 lectures. I couldn't believe it. But they were sitting there with adab. And it reminded me of what the companions said. They said that the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to sit with the people, they would sit close together. If you threw a blanket out, the blanket wouldn't hit the ground, because they were close, listening, learning, looking at the opportunity as, all right, this is an opportunity to get close to Allah in the masjid. Let me listen. Let me learn about my deen. We're over there talking. All right, guys, we're going to have the grub tonight, inshallah. Clean up after yourselves. Remember, you saw what happened. We were penalized last week. So clean up after yourselves and keep the adab in the masjid. You guys have any questions? Any questions? For the Akhi Kareem.
When we experiencing racism or trials or tribulations, could you just refresh my memory on the aspect of patience?
Concerning having patience, the Muslim always have to have patience anytime something bothers him. But having patience doesn't mean you don't work to get out of it and to push it away. But you have to push it away with the best way. Idfa billati hiya ahsan. Push it back with the best way. So there was a man who was with a tremendous companion. His name is Abu Dharr al-Ghafari. Tremendous companion. And he's an Arab, a pure Arab. His blood is not polluted. His blood is not diluted with any other blood. Take that word polluted out. He's a pure Arab, and his tribe, Ghafar, is well known. He's one of the greatest companions. He was known for his zuhd. He used to fast a lot and pray a lot. He used to fast a lot and pray a lot. And anything he saw wrong, he would address it. He didn't care who you were. He didn't care how many you were. If you were a companion, if you thought you were doing wrong, he wasn't scared of anyone. Tremendous story, this man. When he became a Muslim in Mecca, it was a time when you have to be quiet about Islam. The Prophet and them were quiet, hiding. They were meeting in a place called Dar al-Arqam. They would meet secretly and learn the religion, and then leave in the nighttime. When Abu Dharr became a Muslim, he went out to the Kaaba and said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad abduhu wa rasuluh. And the Quraysh beat him up. Because they didn't tolerate that at that time. Islamophobia, they beat him up. And he ran from them, and he went to the Zamzam well. The Kaaba is there, and he went to the Zamzam well. And he stayed there. And he stayed there for a month, just drinking the Zamzam water. So something about his personality is, he didn't have to go out in public and say that. Rasulullah didn't tell him to do that, but that's how he was. He wasn't afraid. And he went out and he declared the Islam. And he could have gotten killed. Anyway, he got into an argument with a man. And he said to that man, you son of a black woman, which means you nigger. That's what it means. You nigger. In a derogatory way. And that's not a word that's good for you guys to use, even if you're using it in the playful way that African Americans use it and the young people use it. They don't always use it in a negative. They can say my nigga, like my friend. But that's not a good word to use. But that's what he said to that man. You son of a black lady. And that man went to the Prophet and told the Prophet what happened. The Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Dharr, Abu Dharr, do you criticize him? You talk bad about him because of his mother? His color didn't come from him. His color came from his mother and his father. Allah created, what's the problem? You don't like his color? He said, are you criticizing a man because of his color? He said, verily, Abu Dharr, you a person, you have jahiliyyah in you. Calling him that name, you have jahiliyyah in you. It's wrong. So what did Abu Dharr do? he went over to that man and he said, I disrespected you, I'm wrong, I want to give you your haq. And he put his face on the ground, he said, put your foot on my face to get your haq. The man said, no, I'm not going to do that to the face of someone who made sajda. So what do we do when people say this? We do like the man did with Abu Dhar. We educate. We take it as an opportunity to educate. Okay, guys? But don't accept that racism and don't be a racist, inshallah. All right, we're going to get our grub on. Any more questions while they set up? Any more questions? Any more? Khalid? Any more? All right, ikhwani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
غرباء 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 غرباء